process to getting your home loan approved can feel like a roller coaster filled with uncertainty. This video will turn that roller coaster into a smooth road trip with some great food along the way. Kamusta ka, everyone. I'm Georgina, a loan specialist and co-founder of Estra Finance here in the Philippines. We create these videos to ensure Filipinos are equipped to make the most informed financial decisions and turn their dreams into a reality. In today's video, we'll be breaking down step by step what the loan process is actually like and see what you'll likely face when applying for your first home loan. Stick around for the whole video and I assure you, you'll be feeling way more confident and ready for your home loan adventure. When you finally made up your mind to take the plunge and get that dream house, the very first step in the journey is the application process. It might seem daunting, but it's quite straightforward once you know what you need. So let's break it down. Most banks will have their own application form online that you can fill out, so I'd recommend taking a look at that first. But if you're someone who appreciates a bit of face-to-face interaction, you can always go into your nearest branch. They'll have a dedicated person handling home loans who can guide you through the application process. If you choose to apply at a branch, save some time and come prepared. Bringing along some basic documents can speed up the application process, but it is likely that you're going to have to come back to bring extra supporting documents anyway, so don't worry too much if you can't get everything on their list. And yes, every bank has a list of documents they might require from you. It's usually on their website for you to take a look at whenever you need to. For the sake of this video, we'll be looking at the requirements from BDO. Most banks generally require the same-ish documents, but don't take my word for it. Always do your own research and double check your preferred bank's website. To apply for BDO, you will need a valid government-issued primary ID, such as a driver's license, a passport, or even a postal ID. You might want to substitute this with 2 secondary IDs instead. If you're married, you'll need a copy of your marriage contract. You'll need documents that declare your income, and what these are vary depending on if you're self-employed, locally employed, or an OFW. But in general, providing 3 months of your most recent payslips, a certificate of employment with compensation, or your latest income tax return are your best choices. Now, you'll also need documents confirming the property you're buying, so bring a copy of the contract to sell. If you're buying from an individual seller or a non-accredited developer, you'll also need a photocopy of the tax declaration and the authorization of tax mapping signed by the current owner. If you're buying a vacant lot and are planning on building your new home, a bill of materials and a floor plan are also required. But that's all you need: your personal documents, your income proof, and the property details. If you don't have all of these documents or you don't know how to get them, don't worry. Go into the bank with what you've got and they'll help you. Now, let me give you some tips about the documents you need to provide. Make sure they're correct, updated, and clearly legible for the bank officer to read. The number one reason why loans are delayed is because of incorrect or outdated documents. According to credit officers, a typical application scenario can go like this. When you submit the wrong documents, they usually aren't identified as incorrect until they reach the credit team. This team conducts a thorough check of your documents after you've been into the bank and discussed your needs with the branch employee, or known as the sales officer. Now, if there's an error with your documents, they'll have to contact the salesperson managing communication with you. This might sound straightforward, but it's often not, because banks are very busy places. That salesperson might not be able to get to you until the next day. You might not be available to take their call, and by the time you're able to get back to the bank to give the correct documents, your loan application rejoins the queue and you're at the back of the pile to be processed again. So you can delay your own application by days, if not weeks, just by not double checking your documents. Please note that if you are buying from a private seller or a non-accredited developer, there is a fee you must pay when you submit your loan documents called an appraisal fee. You must pay this fee straight away in full, and it's usually around 5,000 pesos. If you do not pay this fee, the bank cannot identify the value of the property you want to buy, and this will either delay your application or will cause it to not be processed. If you buy from an accredited developer, there is no appraisal fee. Step 2, the bank interview. Alright, so you've submitted all your documents. What's next? Expect your phone to ring. The bank is going to reach out to you, but don't stress about it. They're simply doing a routine verification. This is an essential step for them to ensure the accuracy of the information provided. During this call, they will confirm details such as your name, your residential address, your employer, your current employment length, and your reported income. Tip 1. It's crucial to stay available for this call. If the bank can't contact you to verify your information, it will slow down your loan application greatly. They need to verify your details in order to proceed to the next step. Tip 2. The tenure of your employment is a factor banks consider when approving your loan. Typically, they're looking for people who have been employed for at least 2 years with their current employer. Some banks are willing to accept someone who has 2 years of employment history from any number of employers. Tell your bank your work history and let them know if you are approaching the 2-year mark, or even if you're on a contract guaranteeing your employment length, because this information can significantly boost your loan approval chances. Situational step, the appraisal. Okay, so I mentioned it briefly before, but what exactly is an appraisal? This is a 5,000 peso fee that the bank needs you to pay so they can tell you what your new home is worth to them. They actually send someone from their team to go to your new property and evaluate it. They'll look at things like where it's located, its size, its condition, and how it stands in the current market. Typically, based on this appraisal, the bank will lend you up to 80% of the home's value. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. Sometimes the bank might value the home lower than its selling price, and that means you might have to dig a bit deeper into your pockets for that initial down payment. If you've got more questions about the appraisal stage, don't worry, drop them in the comments and I'll try and get back to each and every one of you, or you can check out my previous video, which I'll link on the screen somewhere for you to have a look at. Step 3. Go through underwriting. Okay, everyone, once you're past the appraisal, you're entering into the world of underwriting. This is the bank's way of checking all your information before giving your loan the green light. This is typically done by the credit team of a bank. We'll save the deep dive into underwriting for another video, as it is quite a big topic, but here's the basics of what a bank underwriter will do. They'll look at your credit report to get an idea of your credit history. They'll look at your report from the Bankers Association of the Philippines. They'll check their internal records to see if you're a current client of the bank. They weigh your income against any debts you have to ensure you can afford the loan you're actually asking for. They'll review the appraisal report to make sure you can afford it with the loan they give you, and they'll review your personal details again. All these steps are designed to ensure that the loan is a good fit for both you and the bank. It's all about ensuring you can afford the loan. This is the final step before a bank will approve your loan, which takes us to my next step. Step 4. Signing loan documents. Expect a phone call, an SMS, or an email from your bank representative saying that you've been approved for the loan and it's time to sign the loan documents. You'll be invited to go to your nearest branch on an agreed day so they can organize your documents to be ready on your arrival. You cannot sign anything online. You must sign in person. Bring your government ID to confirm you are who you say you are, and bring a family member or a friend as support if you're a bit nervous or if you think you'll have questions about the loan, and make sure you ask your bank representative before you sign anything. Remember that up until you physically sign your loan documents, you don't have to agree to the loan. You can choose not to go ahead at any time. Once you sign the documents, the loan is yours to pay off, so be sure. Step 5. Post-approval process. So, congratulations, you've signed the documents and the loan is yours. Except it's not really. There are some things that need to be paid for now that you've been approved. I call these closing costs, bank call them loan fees, but it doesn't really matter what they're called. What's important is what they cover. Expect to pay for documentary stamp tax, transfer tax, title registration fees, any notarization fees, and some insurance fees like mortgage redemption insurance and fire insurance. Generally, these fees add up to between 2 to 5% of your total loan amount, depending on which bank you go with, and you don't always have to pay upon signing. BDO, for example, lets you do what they call all-in financing, meaning the fees are included in the monthly amortizations of your loan, so you just pay a little extra every month to cover these fees. Step 6. Title transfer. The very last step is getting the title transferred to your name. You can do it yourself. Some banks will do it for you for an extra fee, and it's often faster with their help. So ask them if they do it and what their usual time frame is to complete it for you. Now, the title transfer isn't as important if you're buying from an accredited developer, as banks will typically pay their accredited developers and give them a certain amount of time to transfer the title. You don't have to worry about this delaying you becoming a homeowner. However, if you're buying from a private seller or a non-accredited developer, this step can cause some delays, as a bank typically won't transfer the funds to the seller until the title transfer is complete. And this can take 3 to 4 months, and I've heard of it taking even longer, up to 6 to 12 months. So in that situation, you'll just have to be patient before your loan is officially settled. Step 7. You're a homeowner. It's time to celebrate because your loan has been fully approved and settled. This is one of the best feelings in the world, and it's a great life accomplishment that you should be proud of. And my final tip for you, if you're still confused or worried about applying for a home loan, consider going to estrafinance.com.ph and register your interest, or click on the link in the description box below. As a mortgage broker, it's our job to help you find the best loans as easy as possible. And we also do a couple other things as well. We give you what your exact borrowing power is and which banks will lend to you before you even go shopping for a home, so you can have a rock solid confidence in yourself knowing that you can afford the houses you're actually looking at. We find you the best interest rates, loan terms, and and banks that will actually approve you. We discover anything that might get you declined for a loan, like a poor credit score or even unpaid loans, so you can fix them early. And we give you comprehensive and unbiased information and advice. So check us out if that interests you. Lastly, before we end the video, I'd just like to mention one more thing. If you're in the real estate industry and you've got clients who could use a loan specialist, we'd love to work with you to help your clients find the best financing for their situation. Estra Finance has a great referral program with uncapped commissions, so please sign up to our referral program using the link below. And that's a wrap on that. Please show your support with a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Ingat!